Hello everyone. In our today's video, we're gonna create this beautiful looking Amazon clone website. As you can see, this will be our entire home page with the products. Now, first of all, we will have our header. In the header, we have our logo and where to delivery, and also we have the search bar. And by the way, it will fully functional search bar. You see the product is available, and once you click on that product, it will take you to that particular product with like a title and other details, and also you can add your product on the card. And by the way, you can see the card and it's already added. Let's go back to our home page, and here we will have the sign in button, and then we will have our favorite and also the card button. And this is our slider going on, like the carousel. You see it's automatically sliding. And after that, we are having our product, and in the product, what we have, once you hover in the product, we are having our card, add to card button and add to favorite button, and both of the button is working. As you see, once I click, the card is already added. If I add in favorite, as you see, the favorite is also added. And this all the details. And by the way, if you click on that image, it will also take you to the particular page with the product details. And let's go back to home and add some more products. And now let's go back to our card again. As you see, this is all the products we have been added. Now we can actually increase the product details from here. As I increase, as you see, the product is available. And by the way, we cannot go to the proceed to buy. As you see is happening here, the please login to continue. And here we can reduce the product, we can remove the product, and if you want to reset the card, we can reset. If we click, as you see, we're having an alert, and as you say, are you sure you want to reset your card items? If you want to cancel, you can cancel, or if you want to reset, it will reset all the product. So now you can go to shopping. So now let's add some more product because we want to create a checkout over here. And let's go to our cards, and now we cannot make the checkout, so we need to go to sign in. So let's click on the sign in. As you see, we have a different provider like Google, Facebook, GitHub, and GitLab. Let's click on the sign in with Google, and now it's giving me the option, wherever option I want to choose or which account I will choose to sign in. GitHub is working because in the GitHub you cannot use two URI, callback URI. You need to use one. Because of this production build, I used that GitHub, so I cannot like redirect in my local host. So now once I sign in, I have my image, I have my name, I have my email, and there is one sign out button also working. So now we will be able to create our payment. So let's go to the proceed to checkout. So now once we just click on the proceed to checkout, I will be able to create a checkout like payment indeed with Stripe. So first of all, let's go and click on that, proceed to buy, and as you see, it's taking me to that page. Now let's go to the default value over here. That will be my admin email. Let's give my name and just put any of the details, and default one is 4242. So that will be the default value for this type payment. And CVC, just put any random 3 number. So now if I click on pay, and as you see, the last payment is 970, so this payment is 3373.19. Let's pay. So now it's processing, and as you see, the payment is done, and after payment it will redirect me to a page where is the success page. So thank you for shopping in nextamazon.com. So I can just go back and go back to shopping again. So as you see, this payment is done. So let's go back to Stripe. Just create a hot reload because it will take a time to generate that. And after reloading, you see that is the particular payment we have been done right now. If we just click on the details, as you see, this is the payment we did with the Stripe, and it's a very simple. We're gonna create that application from the scratch. And by the way, if we just finish everything, we can just click on sign out. It will just let it remove everything, and it will create its sign in again for that. And by the way, this page is fully responsive. So if you are a beginner developing, or if you are working in a production build, feel free to follow to create that application. And by the way, if you are new in my channel, as you know, previously I have been built with a very exclusive designing pattern for this Amazon clone. And of course, this one is fully functional except the payment method, which you can follow through in this video and you can adapt over here. And I'm gonna send all, just give all the video links in the description. Just there is, I think, 4 or 5 part of that video, and that will give you an exact idea how you can play with the designing pattern when creating any of that e-commerce website. So feel free to follow that. And for our today's video, as you see, this is the portion I already uploaded, so that's also fully functional. And for this entire build, whatever the tech we're gonna use, let's just give you an description for it. We are going to use the Next.js, and the Next.js version, it will be 13.4.7. And then we're gonna use that TypeScript, fully TypeScript. It will be available there. We're gonna use the Tailwind CSS for styling our entire design. It will be using the Tailwind CSS. We're gonna use that Redux Toolkit to create the state, set up the user, and set up our store. And then we're gonna use the Next-Auth for our creating that. As you see, the redirecting for sign in and everything for the user, we're gonna use that Next-Auth. And then we're gonna use the Stripe. You already know what it before used, and we're gonna use that React responsive carousel to create that very beautiful carousel over here. And then we're gonna use that React spinners when we are particularly when we are going to any of the single product. As you see, this spinner, it will be coming from the React spinner. We're gonna use that React icons to cover up all the icons, and then we're gonna use that Vercel to deploy our application in production build. And by the way, we are also gonna use that Git and GitHub to create everything from the scratch. So along of that, I'm gonna just close all other tabs, because it's time to build our application. We will just keep that one for our to see what we're gonna do. And now let's create. So first of all, we're gonna use that Next.js. And let's get it started. And by the way, I'm not gonna use that app router. I'm gonna use that page router. Both are working pretty much fine. Recommending the app router because it's new, but I'm using the page router because there is a collapse in between with this Stripe API and this app router, which is a little bit tricky. So I don't want you to get you much more complicated. That's why I'm using that page router. So let's open our terminal over here and let's get their installation guide. Let's copy that. Let's paste it. And we're gonna give a name for it. So we're gonna just next Amazon YT. And let's enter. So now after entering, as you see, it's already explained over here, whatever the things it's gonna pop up for you. As you see, let's proceed, and it will be 13.4.8. You see it's changing rapidly because I used 13.4.7, now it's 8. And yes, we're gonna use the new one, and I'm gonna use the TypeScript. I'm gonna use the ESLint and Tailwind CSS, and I'm gonna use the source directory because everything, it will be inside one directory. No need to go looking something for elsewhere. And I'm not gonna use the app router. I'm gonna use the page router. And now it's gonna go and get whatever is need to install and build our project. Sometimes it may take a bit of time because of the internet issue, but just give it the time, it will just install every single thing to run your application perfectly. So now as you see, everything is installed. So let's just go to our file. So cd next Amazon YT. So now it's time to open it in our code editor. And we are going to use that our VS Code editor. So just let it more bigger. And now here, this is our directory over here, and inside the source folder we have our pages, we have our style folder, and every single thing gonna come back from over here. So first of all, let's go and spin. I'm gonna just make a little bit bigger so you can see it perfectly. In my terminal, I'm gonna use the git bash and this npm run dev. Keep me in that site, and it's gonna start in localhost 3000. Okay. Okay, first of all, this is the default homepage coming from the Next.js. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna clean that page. We are not going to need that one. So I'm gonna take another main div and put a h1 tag. This is the store. So now as you see, that is changed, but there is some kind of default behavior. Some setup is going on and it's coming from this style this global.css. And this defined CSS we're gonna remove, and as you see, we are getting a clean slate application. So now it's time to build our own application. First of all, let's see the structure what we're gonna have. So I'm gonna close that. First of all, we're gonna have that our header. We're gonna create our top header, our bottom header, and then we're gonna create our footer, because this three part will be available for every pages. And then we're gonna wrap that in a root layout. Then we're gonna create these other things. So let's go build our header. And to create the header, what I'm gonna do, inside that source folder, because I have a source folder, so every single thing will be inside in source folder. So now I'm gonna take a folder which will be components, and inside that components, I'm gonna create my header. And by the way, there will be two parts for the header. So I'm gonna take a folder for header, and inside that folder, let's create header.tsx. And tsx, because of the TypeScript, I'm gonna use for our today's build. So now this header, I'm gonna import over here. Let's go get the header. So as you see, the header is updated. And first of all, let's go and grab all the images from my file, and these images will be available in the description, the link I'm gonna provide you also. So I'm gonna paste all the images I have been used for that, for the card, for the logo, and also for my slider. I'm using that local image for it. So let's go back to my header. First of all, I'm gonna take the logo, import logo from, and it will be in the upper level because I am inside that component. So I need to go out of the component. Let's get images, and it will be logo.png. So this will be my, like the parent div. So in here, I'm gonna keep that image. So first of all, let take me another div, and then I'm gonna create the image. And for that image, I'm gonna just go and give it the source, and the source, it will be logo, and also give an alt tab, it will be logo image. And now I'm gonna go and give that class name for it. So the class name for the first, and even though if I save it, I'm gonna see one image. It's as you see, it's very big, and other part is not visible because I need to give some kind of partition for that. So in the top level, oops, it will be class name, which will be full, and I'm gonna give a height of 20, and the bg. And by the way, for the background and other purpose, I'm gonna like create some custom color and font. And for the custom color, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove that one. First of all, I'm gonna take some screens because I'm gonna make it responsive by the way I feel it better. So I'm gonna drop my screen sizes over here, which is predefined by me. I defined that one. And also for the colors, I'm gonna take another properties, and it will be, so it's not showing, so it should be here. Okay, this colors. And for the colors, I'm gonna just let's go, and I'm gonna use 4 colors. One will be Amazon blue, and Amazon light, Amazon yellow, and for the light text. And also I'm gonna use the box shadow to generating some box shadow, and I think we're fine. No need to use that. And also for the font, I'm gonna go and grab my fonts from the Google Fonts. By the way, in default, we are having already a fonts enter font. But if we are not rendering in the server side, that font is creating an issue. So I'm not gonna use this font. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go Google Fonts, and this will be my fonts, and I'm gonna use that Poppins. As you see, it's already selected. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna import that font, and let's import it. And just to remember what font currently we have, let's just put some text. Okay, we can create that background. Okay, BG Amazon blue. As you see, we can see the other things. So instead of creating that, hello, and if we just okay, the text will be okay, text white. I just want to show you the fonts, how we're gonna change it. As you see, if we just click on font details, it's the default font for coming from the VS Code and from that Next.js. But we want to use that this font over here, the Poppins. And to do that, I'm just going to go in our style global.css, and over here, I'm gonna paste it. And now in the Tailwind CSS, I'm gonna make that font family, and that font family, it will be named as a body font, and that body font will be combining the font which we're gonna use for this one, the font family Poppins by default, or sans serif if something collapses. So now this will be our fonts. But now where we gonna adopt that fonts? And to adopt that, the best way I find it better is to, you can either keep it here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna inside that component, I'm gonna take it deep, and it will work just fine. And let's go and give a class name, and font, it will be, oops, not font, it will be text body font. And I believe it will change like that, but didn't change it. Let's make a reload. Okay, it's still not changed, so we are having some issue. So that one, it should work. I think the font, or yeah, I think font, it will be the body font. Yeah, now it's working. So you need to actually say which kind of things it will be there. So the font, it will be the body font. And now we are having that our font Poppins available for to build. So let's close that. And in the header, we're gonna just run our image over here. And for the image, let's go and give some class name for it. But before giving it, what I'm gonna do for that one, let's text, it will be light text, and it will be top sticky, and from the top 0, and the z index, it will be 50, because once we are scrolling that header, it will be sticky on the top. So we need to create in that way. And for the image, is just getting freak out. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just give a weight of 28, and object, it will be the cover. Oops, it will not the fill, it will be cover. And as you see, that image is available over here, but it's in the very top. So what I'm gonna do, and it will be, I'm gonna give a height of full and width of full, and mx in auto. I'm gonna make it in inline of flex, and item center, justify a between, because you're gonna add some more items. And I'm gonna give a gap of 1 for this parent div, and MDL, the gap, it will be in 3, and padding in x-axis, it will be 4. So I'm gonna give this like in an all together, because see, now it's gonna make a hell lot of sense. So now we are already giving the image and we are having a div for that image. So now this image, actually, first of all, let's just combine how we gonna make that one. So let's just cut it. Let's comment. We're gonna have a logo, and that will be our logo. And after the logo, what we're gonna have? We're gonna just make, and after the logo, we're gonna have delivery, and then we're gonna have, oops, it will be search bar, and after search bar, we're gonna have this sign in option. After sign in, we're gonna have our favorite, and then we're gonna have our card. So those are the things we're gonna create, and to create that image all together, I'm gonna take inside a div, because we need to create that hover effect alongside, and so that we can actually make this one. So to create the hover effect, what I'm gonna do in this, the parent div, I'm going to give a class name which will be padding in x-axis is 2, and I'm going to give a border, but the border, it will be transparent, but whenever we are hovering, the border, it will be white. And of course the cursor, it will be pointer, and the duration, it will be 300 to give a duration, and a flex item center, justify center, and the heights, we're not gonna give a full height of the parent div. We're gonna give a 70% of height for the parent div. As you see on hover, it's happening, but the image looks a bit of off, and it's because the image is slide a bit of on a top way. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just give a empty one to take the image in the middle. As you see, now it looks better. So now we are having our image. Now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna having that delivery, and the same way, I'm gonna take another div, and inside that div, I'm gonna take a p tag, deliver to, and then I'm gonna take another p tag, which will be USA. So let's save it. And by the way, we also gonna have this one over here, because we make justify between, that's why. So this one, we're gonna having icons, and so we need to install the icons, and we're gonna having React icons for our today's build. First of all, we need to install the icons over here, and I'm gonna use another terminal. Let's open it. Okay, let's paste. So it's gonna install that icon. So if I just go and search for the location icon, you can see all the icons is available for you. In that way, I'm searching the icon. So I'm not gonna waste the time to search the icon, because I know which icon I use for my build. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get the icon, the available icon I use for these pages. Okay, let's see if install. Yeah, it's already installed, and this icon, it will be like the search icon, location icon, or carrot down icon. So first of all, we need to use that search icon, and to use that, I'm gonna wrap this entire thing inside another div, and in the top of that div, I'm gonna use that as a location pin icon. So let's go to our, as you see, this is available over here. So first of all, in the top level of the div, what I'm gonna do, this entire class name, and by the way, you can wrap that class name and take it to the other folder, like in the global CSS, give it a name, and it will work just fine. But I'm not gonna do that right now. So as you see, the hover effect and other things is working just fine. And by the way, for making it responsive, by default, it will be hidden. And whenever we are hitting in the Excel devices, it will be inline flex. So we need to remove that flex over here. And also we're gonna give a gap of 1 for it. So this is the things happening. And now we need to actually make these things to looks better. And I'm gonna give a text of extra small, and in the padding and the last P, which gonna be text of white. and the font, it will be bold, and it will be uppercase by default. So this is the things, as you see, that looks much better. So now this is the done for our deliver to. Now it's time for our search bar. So let's go and take that. And in this, for the search bar, we need to have an input, and in the input type, it will be text. In the placeholder, what we're gonna do, it will be a search next Amazon YT products. As you see, this search bar is available. To make it looks better, what I'm gonna do, in the parent label, I'm gonna give a flex 1. As you see, it's coming in the other side, but it not looks the way it's supposed to be. I'm gonna give a height of a 10 for it, and by the way, it will be a hidden in by default. So MDN, it will be inline flex to just come in whichever the bigger devices, and item will be center, justify between, and we're gonna make it as a relative because the icon we are going to use, that one will be an absolute icon. So let's go. And now in the input, we need to make it design for it, and the width will be full, and the height will be also full, and rounded, it will be empty. As you see, this is our, now it's taking the full width, and let's just specify some more things for it. And first of all, give a padding in x-axis 2 to text. The text should be looks better, and the place, it will be placeholder text, it will be, I believe, let's give it SM, and the other text, it will be a base, and text will be black, yeah, black text, and the border, it will be, I'm gonna give it 3 pixel of border. As you see, now the border is there, but it's not looking in that way. So by default, the border, it will be transparent. We're gonna give a transparent border, and also we're gonna give that outline. Remember, whenever we click, there is that outline. Because of that, the border is in, it will not be seen in that way. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna make that outline as none. As you click, as you see, that outlines is no more visible. So now, remember, we already giving a border. So now, what we're gonna go, focus visible. Whenever in focus invisible, we're gonna give it that that border, it will be Amazon yellow. By default, there will be no border. Whenever we want to type something, we're gonna focus on it in a visible length, we're gonna see that border. So that's the point for it. And after that input, I'm gonna take another span tag, and then I'm gonna use that high outline search. As you see, that's the search. We need to make it looks in a better way. So first of all, let's go and give some class name with a full, not the full, sorry, width will be 12, and height, it will be the full height of the previous thing, and the BG, it will be Amazon yellow. As you see, it's taking that, and the text, it will be black. Now you can see it much better. And now also I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger, giving a text of 2 axle, and not the border, and 2 axle. Okay, looks better. I'm gonna make it a flex, item center, justify center, to keep it in the middle. As you see, it's inside the middle. And also what I'm gonna do, because it should become here, not here. So first of all, I'm gonna make it absolute, okay? And after doing that absolute, right, it will be 0. So as you see, it's taking on that way, but as you see that border is rounded, but that one border is not rounded. And to keep that rounded, what I'm gonna do, round it, top, I think the top right portion, which will be MD, and also round it border right portion, which will be MD. As you see, that looks pretty slick. So now we are having our Amazon deliver to, we are having our search bar, and it's time to create our hello sign in portion, which will be our sign in. And to create that, let's go to after that sign in portion. We're gonna create that one. So first of all, let's go and take another div. And inside that div, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a p tag which will say hello, sign in. And then after the p tag, I'm gonna take another p, which will be say account and list. And after that, we're gonna have an icon which will be bi down icon. So as you may see, this the things is already here. Now we need to make it looks better. First of all, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go in my previous part where we are using all of those things. I'm gonna just copy those and I'm gonna put a class name. I'm gonna paste it here. Okay, no, it will okay, I believe it will be like in column portion. Okay, or instead of doing that, what I'm gonna do, just not going in too much in that way, I'm gonna just create from this scratch text. It will be extra small text, and the text it will be gray not 300. I'm gonna give a gray of 100 to be off. Flex it will be in a column size, and then justify it will be center, and px it will be 2. And by the way, it will be border, and the border it will be transparent, the same things. And hover border it will be white, and cursor pointer duration it will be 300, and height it will be 70%, as you see. But this things is not actually working that much fine because of that p tag. What I'm gonna do for that p tag, the class name and the text it will be white for that p tag, and also font it will be bold to look like much better, and flex item center, as you see, that is slick. So that's working so much better. So after that, we need to create our two more button. One will be the favorite, other will be the card. And for the favorite, I'm gonna take another div, and inside that div it will be one, it will be marked, and another it will be that will be just type and favorites. So now this will be our favorite one. So in the top level of that, I believe it will be the same class name for it. Let's just copy and paste that one. That looks good. So now, and also what we can do, just keep it the same in the top, and the class name, the second one, it will be a text white font bold. Looks better. And now we need to have our card, and I'm using a card icon to looks like a bit with Amazon. So let's import icon from the same folder. It will be images, and that will be the card icon we are going to use. And to use that card icon, let's go take a div, and then I'm gonna use that image, and source will be the card icon. It will be the card image, and let's go and give the class name for that. And width will be auto define width, and object it will be the cover, and height it will be 8. After saving that, as you see, our card is available. So we are having the card. Let's go in the top level of that the same way. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give a flex item center px2 and border. And by the way, instead of typing so much things, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just grab this thing, and you can define it in your global.css, and then you can do it as the way I already described it in so many videos. Feel free to do that, but I'm gonna go in that in a very simple way. So after saving, that is our card. So now in that card, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make relative for that card, because we need to have that text for it. and the text, it will be, let's go p tag, it will be the card, as you see. Okay, and now I'm gonna give a class name which will be text access. Oops, it will be extra small, and the text, it will be white, and font, it will be the bold font, and MT3 to come a little bit lower side. So this is the our card. So now we need the value for that. And first of all, the value, it will be a 0. Later on we will get the card items value. So, and that one, it will be absolute, and the text, it will be Amazon yellow text. Let's see, the text is available, and the text, it will be XS, and from the top, it will be 2, and from the left, I will just make it as 29 pixel. Just see how it looks. Okay, it's in the middle. And also the font, it will be semi-bold. And okay, let's make the text as SM, not the extra small. Okay, so now that looks better. Okay, so even we are coming through in that, as you see, that's getting responsive in the way along the way, because we did it in that way. So now we are having our header, and after the header, we're gonna also need to have another file, which will be bottom header.tsx, rafce. So now it's time to create that one, the bottom header. And to create that, also again, we're gonna keep it inside our index file right now. Oops, it will be bottom header, and this bottom header is available. So let's go, and you can keep it header bottom or bottom header the way you like. So first of all, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the icon, because I'm gonna use a menu icon for it. So I'm gonna just grab that icon. So this is the icon I'm gonna use, and this will be very simple. First of all, let's see the class name. It will be like the weight will be, it will full, and height, which will be 10, and then bg, it will be Amazon light, and text SM, text, it will be white, and px of 4. So that's the things we are going to create. So now we make it we need to make it flex and item center. So the item, it will be in the center axis. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a p tag, and inside that p tag, I'm gonna pass that to the menu first. As you see, the menu is available, and after the menu, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pass that all. Okay, so for the first one, it will be a little bit tricky. So give a flex item center. As you see, coming all together, the gap, it will be 1, and height, it will be the full height, or not the full height, it will just take the middle height of it. And because we will give the border, and by default the border, it will be transparent, and hover, the border, it will be white, and cursor pointer duration, it will be 300. As you see, on the hover, it's coming in that way. And by the way, we will also give a px of the px of 2. Otherwise, the hover effect is not looks so good. As you see, that looks much better. And now, as we have been done, I think give a class name for that, make it Axel. Icon should look a little bit much bigger. So after that, we're gonna have another p tag, which will contain today's deals. Okay, so now we need to create all the effect from the beginning. And by the way, okay, class name, by default, it will be hidden. It's gone. And whenever it will be in MB devices, it will be inline flex, so it will be available. And now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab all the things available for the other way. Okay, so I'm gonna remove that flex, because you already defined the flex, and the gap, no need, because there's only will be single item. So in that way, we're gonna have some more items. So after today's deals, I believe it will be the customer service. Customer service. Okay. After customer service, it will be, oops. Okay. Registry. And then it will be gift cards. And then coming is sale. Okay. And after the sale, we're gonna have the last one, which will be sign out button. And by the way, as you see in this way over here, first of all, the sign out button will not be available. Once we sign in, only that time the sign out button will be available. So that you need to keep in mind that by default the sign out button, it will not be available. So once we will create that functionality later on, but for right now we will just create that sign out button. Later on, we're gonna just remove that as the way we want it. Okay. So now in over here, because the sign out button, it will be a different class name. So I'm gonna cut this class name. I'm gonna make item center, and the gap, it will be 1. Actually, it's much more the same. So I'm gonna keep it in that way. So first of all, in the border, it will be rate 600, and the text, it will be text, it will be Amazon YOLO text, as you can see. Okay. And whenever we are hovering on it, the text will be changed. Hover, the text, it will be that rate 400. Okay. So that's it. And also, if you just combine it, it will be responsive for all the devices. And now it's time to create our another part. But before going that, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a div over here, and I'm gonna make it just py of 10 and bg gray of 300, because we need to show what is available. Now we will just make a simple footer. So you can make it complicated the way you want. I already told you, I have a video where I show you how you can actually make from the scratch everything pixel perfect. But for this video, I'm focusing especially for the backend formation, Stripe payment formation. That's why I'm not going to cover those things. So let's take that footer. Now the footer is available. So for the footer, it will be the simple things gonna be happen. Let's go to footer, and inside that footer, I'm gonna take that our image, which is gonna come from the next image. I don't know why it's not importing from the next image. And then we're gonna import the logo. So let's import our logo from, it will be the images and the logo we are using. So for this one, which what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just give a source, and that source, it will be our logo, and out, it will be logo. And also for the class name, I'm gonna just make it as a weight 24. We cannot see it properly because we need to give that a background color to see it the way we're supposed to be. And now to do that, let's go in the top level of the div. Let's give a class name, width of full, and height of 20, the same height. And bg, it will be Amazon light, and then the text, it will be a gray 300 flex. Of course, item center, justify a center, and the gap, it will be 4. And as you see, we can now, that is appearing in over here. And after that image, I'm gonna use another p tag, which will be that all rights reserved. And after that, I'm gonna use an a tag, which will be my website, the official website, reactbd.com. And in that href, it will take us to that. And the target, it will be blank. So now if we just click over here, it's gonna take to my official website. So now what I'm gonna do is give some class name for it. The text, it will be sm, and minus empty, it will be 4. Now it looks better. And also href, let's give a class name hover, it will be the text white, and hover, it will be underline, and then the decoration, the underline height, which I'm gonna give you 1 pixel, and that cursor will be pointer, the duration, it will be 300. As you see, that looks slick. So now over here, if we go to our cart page, our header, footer, everything available. In our home page, everything also available. So we need to implement that one. But how we can do it? And to implement those things, there is a very simple procedure. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use that RootLayout.tsx, RAFCE. Inside that root layout, I will define that header, footer, and every other things which will be combined for other pages. Because if we just go in other pages, it will not be available right now. Like if we create another page, inside that pages, let's create a cart.tsx. It will be RAFCE, which will be the cart page. So now from the local host, if we just navigate through the cart page, as you see, we are just viewing that cart page. We cannot see the header and footer. And to combine with that, inside that root layout, we're gonna just create that trick. And what we're gonna do, inside that root layout, I'm gonna just take an empty braces, return an empty braces, and inside that braces, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna combine my header, and also I'm gonna combine my bottom header, and then my footer. And because these 3 things is available, but as you see that in the middle of the things, we need to pass that as children. So to pass the children, I'm gonna pass as a props children. So this will be responsible to pass all the value as children. But as you see, once I keep the children, my TypeScript is giving me the error. So we need to pass that as types, and the interface, it will be the props, and the type for the children, it will be that React element. And of course, don't forget to import that one from the React, otherwise it will not work. And now we're gonna pass as a props. As you see, TypeScript is working fine. So now where we gonna implement that one? We're gonna implement that one in our underscore app.tsx. That's the file, it will be inside on page.tsx. So over here, I'm gonna take everything and I'm gonna pass that root layout, and now I'm gonna pass that component. As you see, now I can see my cart page and other things. So it's better to go back there using the link. So in our logo in the top, I will make it as a link, and also I'm gonna import it from next link, and href, it gonna take back to us in the home. So let's go back to the home, and here is everything double. It's because a very simple issue, we didn't remove over here. So this is the home page, so we didn't remove that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove the header, I'm gonna remove the footer, and also I'm gonna remove that import for it. So now as you see, that looks fine. And also in our header, let's combine with that to link href, which will be the cart. So now we can toggle through the cart. This is the cart page, and we can toggle through also in our home page. So this pretty much it. So now it's time to create that beautiful looking slider. And to create that, let's go to our React responsive carousel, which we're gonna use to implement that one. And let's copy that. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just import all the dependencies for it. And I'm gonna, okay, let's close that, also that. And inside that component, I'm gonna take a component called banner.tsx rafce. So inside that banner, we're gonna create that one. Okay. So on the banner, and by the way, we need to import that banner in the index.tsx. So what I'm gonna do now, okay, that's our main one. So we need to correspond something. So in our main div, after the main, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a class name for it. So class name, I'm gonna give you max width, which will be screen in 2XL, and I'm gonna make it inside MX Auto. So this will be our main div, and inside over here, I'm gonna use that banner. Okay. So now as you see, okay, it's not yet came by. Max width screen 2XL MX Auto. Okay, because 2XL is same the width of my screen. If I make XL, as you see, it's happening. So in, yeah, 2XL is same like my screen sizes. If I just inspect this for my previous one, as you see, and now if I just make a saturation is a little bit make an 50%. Now if I go, you see there is a max width which is happening for the 2XL. But if my screen size is like the same width of that, that's why you cannot see it proper way. So I'm gonna make it default in actually 2XL and MX Auto. So now in our banner, and a very simple way we can use that one. Also, if you just go to the documentation, you can find every single thing. First of all, we need to take their CSS. We need to import that CSS, and that CSS we need to import also in here, that underscore app.tsx. So that will be responsible for every single other things. And now what we need to do, we need to import that carousel, this file. So import the carousel, we import, and after that we need to take this entire properties. So let's take this one. So now carousel will be available, of course. So first of all, let's go to our page. As you see, okay, there is some issue is happening. First of all, okay, initial UI does not match rendered on the server. Let's just reload. Okay, it's just having some network issue. So as you see, the carousel is working fine. First of all, let's go and take all the images which we're gonna use. So the images is available over here inside the slider folder. All the images, I'm gonna provide that images for you. The link will be in the description. And by the way, I'm gonna give everything for you, all the dependencies, everything. You're gonna get it through the GitHub, don't worry. So let's get slider. I'm gonna make that same name, underscore one image, and from it will be that, it will be the images folder, and also the after the images to the slider and this one. So total there is 3 images, and I keep the name in the same way. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just change this to name, and okay, it will be 3. So this is the images I'm gonna use. And first of all, I don't want to use that legend for it. So I'm gonna just remove that legend. And now in the images, I'm not gonna use their images, which what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use that our next image. Okay, so also I'm gonna remove this other 2 div. It will give an error, so I'm gonna remove it later. And for that one, the source, it will be that slider image 1, and the else it will be the slider image. And by the way, if I'm not giving width and height, it will work just fine, because it's gonna take the entire width of that, as you see. So it's depends, you can give width of height, but for me I think it looks better, so I don't want to go through all of it. So this will be our first image. And after that, so now we can remove these 2 things. and we will just copy these two. So it will be the second image and that will be the third image. As you see, the image is available and that looks good actually. So now there is some dot which we don't want. So for that cursor, I'm gonna make it as autoplay. It will be in autoplay and it will come up with the infinite loop. So it will always play. After finish, it will just loop back and it will follow through. And show status, I don't want to show any status, so it will be the false. And that indicators, remember in the top, in the bottom, so the show indicators, I don't want to show any indicators, so it will be the false also. And after that, show thumbs, also it will be the false. And there is another property which will be make the interval. I'm gonna make interval in every 3 milliseconds. So now this is it. We are having that, as you see. That looks good. Okay, so we are having the carousel, but there is another tricky thing. So what we're gonna create, I'm gonna give a class name. I'm gonna make it as relative. So in the bottom way, I'm gonna take another div, and in that div, let's give a class name with the full and height. I'm gonna give a 40, and the bj, it will be gradient from the top and from gray, I think 100 to transparent, and I'm gonna make it in absolute, and the bottom it will be 0, z index it will be 20. And what it gonna do, you can see the effects. Okay, yeah, that's the effect. If I just close that, as you see, that is looks pretty sharp. But if I, and there is a shadow going on, like if I just remove that okay, let's give it 600. As you see, now you can see it in proper way. So that's the things we created. So I'm gonna just keep a gray of 100. Okay, what I have been done. Okay, so now that's done. Okay, where is our third image? Okay, slider image 3. Okay, image 3. Something wrong. We are not getting our third image. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Let's give a hot reload. 1, 2, 3. Okay. But why this one is coming as empty? Something is weird happening. So this one, okay. Okay, because that one is getting everything as a image, as an image. So I believe we make it relative. Of course, it should work. And we are making it as an absolute, bottom 0. Okay, let me figure it out. Okay, that issue is happening because we are keeping that inside the carousel. What we need to do, we need to just remove it down of the bottom of the carousel. So now in that way, we can see it over here. As you see, that is now actually visible. So it's just a little bit debugging. Don't be freak out. Just try to fulfill the things you want. So that will be our carousel. So now in that way, our banner is done. So now we need to create our product. So for that, I'm gonna use another, let's just use another components, which will be products.tsx. Of course, inside our index, we're gonna import that. So now as you see, that product is available, the components. So we need to fetch the product and then we need to pass the product to our component. And how we can do it, we're gonna like if you just go back to the Next.js and on their documentation, because we are using that page router, and in the data fetching, there is a lot of other way. We are gonna use the get server side props. In that method, we're gonna fetch the data from the by server side. So how we can do it? We're gonna keep it in the below, and that will be like server side rendering for data fetching. So now over here, what I'm gonna do, export, it will be the const, and that it will be get server side props, and it will be async because it will wait until it get the response. And now const response, it will await, and then it gonna fetch, and it gonna fetch from where. So I'm gonna having one like inside my API. If we go back to our website, which will be the fake store API, if we go over here, we are using that fake store server. So now over here, that will be our that tech, that will be the API we're gonna use. So it will be the in the description link. Link will be in the description, and just that it will be https fake store API server.reactbd.com/tech. So we gonna get that one to fetch all the our today's data. And after fetching data, what it what it gonna do, product data, it will be just await for the response.json, and then it gonna return what it gonna return. It gonna return a props, and inside that props we're gonna pass that product data. So now we are having that product data, but we need to pass it through our components. And to pass that one, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just make it as a it will be destructurize the product data, and then we can pass console.log. Let's see if we can see the product data. If this everything fine, the data will be in the console.log. Okay, we don't need that. Okay, it's showing that's undefined. Let's just give a hot reload. Okay, it's just loading. And after load happen, you see the data is available over here. Now there is one more things. As you see, we are looking at the console. That image with that there is should be, I think, the first image, the image in the slider, which is coming from the banner. We need to give that image as parity. Not property, it will be parity. Okay, so now that will be in parity, so that it will not be having giving any effect. So whenever you're gonna render that, like whenever you're gonna reload, we're gonna having our product data over here, and then we're gonna passing our product data as a props in our main component. And also we can pass that product data to our, as you see, this is the product data we are having. So now you can set that in a state, then we can pass, or you can pass it directly the way you want. And by the way, as you see, we are having an TypeScript error. So what I'm gonna do to define the types, I'm gonna take another file in our root directory, in the root file. So we're gonna declare the product data, like the product props for that product data. And to declare that, we're gonna define the types. So now first of all, let's see what kind of product we have. We have brand, category, description, image is new, which is a boolean value, old price, which is a number value, price is a number value, title and others is a string, and ID also as a number value. So we need to define that one, to strictly type that one to define those things. So we're gonna export that interface as a product props, because we're gonna use in several other ways, so we better to render it in separately. So first of all, we're gonna have a brand which will be string, then we're gonna have a category, which also will be string, and then description string, and after that image, which is also string, and then is new, which will be boolean, like true or false, then old price, it will be the price, it will be number, and also the price, it will be number, and then we're gonna have a title, which will be also a string, and then we are having underscore id, which will be the number. So we are exporting that product props. Now over here we're gonna declare the interface to get that product props, and now is interface, interface, and which will be the props, and now product data, which we are passing, we're gonna pass it as a product props, and inside over here we're gonna define it as props. So now as you see, the problem with that is gone. So now we can pass the data through that products. So let's make that product data as a product data. And there is an error because we need to catch that product data. And by the way, all the method I am using, it will work just fine. As you see, we are using that Next.js 13.4.8, the latest one. So don't freak out. Try to use it. It's gonna work definitely. And inside our products, we need to catch that one, right? And to do that, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just pass that as a product data. Because we know what is coming, I'm gonna pass it as any value, because we know how it's gonna render and what it's gonna do. So let's make another console.log, and this time this will be rendered from our product page. So as you see, it's coming from that products. So now we are having our products. So now it's the time we can actually create that. We are having that product array, so we can show the products, the available products over here. So first of all, what I'm gonna do, after the main div, I'm gonna make that product data.map, just type that item, and I'm gonna just take a p tag, which will be item.title. So right now, okay, nothing is available. Okay, so because I need to note that curly braces, we need to return that properties, otherwise it will not otherwise it will not pass the value. Okay, I think I messed up, so I'm gonna return, and that p tag, which will be item.title. Now as you see, we can see all the titles available for us, but in our product we want everything should be work in a proper way. And to do that, we need to predefine, as you see, this is the product, so we need to keep in the value in that same way. So first of all, let's go in our product, because I want to remove that error, because we know what will come in the product, right? We're gonna having ID, we're gonna having the title and other things. So I'm gonna take it as in a simple way. I'm gonna having in a title, brand, and then category, description, image, and then we're gonna have is new, and also price, and those all the datas, it will be as the product props we defined previously. So now we are no needing having that item.title. We can just type that title, or we can just type anything. We can type description, it will be available. So that's very simplistic way. So let's go to our index. We will just make a little bit what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just take it inside in a div, and then I'm gonna paste it. And now I'll make that div as relative, because the products, it will be absolute in some way. So now the in MD devices, it will be, oops, not M, it will be minus empty of 20. LGL devices, it will be minus empty of 32. And Excel devices, it will be minus empty of 60. As you see, it's gonna come little bit forward on the top level. That's the things I'm gonna creating right now. And the Z, it will be 20, and MB, it will be 10. To those the things is happening to make it a little bit in a sloppy way. So I'm gonna remove that console.log from there. Oops. And now in the product, the game will start. So first of all, in the top level of the product, I'm gonna give a class name for it. The width will be full. Px, it will be it will be 4 from or we're gonna give a 6 to make it a little bit more inside away. And I'm gonna make it a grid, and by default it will be grid calls of 1, and whenever hit that empty screen it will be grid calls of 2. Excel, it will be grid calls of I think 4. Yeah, 4, and the gap, it will be 6. So now as you see, that looks pretty sloppy. So this is the done. And now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take, oops, not that. I'm gonna take everything inside the div. And after that div, I'm gonna take that image from the next image. And by the way, on that div, we need to pass a key, and that key will be ID. Okay. And that image, the source, it will be image, and alt, it will be product image. And it will not be available. As you see, the width and height we need to give, otherwise we cannot see the image. So the width, it will be 300, and the height, it will be 300. We're giving that, but as you see, we need to give that host name because that image is rendering from that IBB. So we are wherever I am what you call that, hosting my image. As you see, that's the hosting platform I'm using to host my image. So I need to highlight that particular domain in my Nextjs.config. So for that, let's go to images, and now domains. I'm gonna just highlight that domains over here. You can close your terminal and can open, or you can just make a hot reload. It's gonna reload and show you the actual things over here. But it's gonna render, so it will take a bit of time. Okay. And actually, my server automatically just shut it down, and it's because we are using in that our in our next-config.js, so it's just freaking out. So better to, whenever you are typing something in that next.config.js, you need to like close your terminal and then open it, and it will be work just fine. So now it will render everything up from the beginning, as you see, and we're gonna have our image. So as you see, the image is already available. Now it's time to make it looks better. So in our top level of the div, that's the div we are using. So let's go. We're gonna give a class name. We're gonna give a width of full, and VG, it will be white to make it in a look in a good way, as you see. And by the way, there will be a background in the back. As you see, this background we need to initialize, and that will be initialized from that app.tx, which we're gonna be VG gray of 300. So all the background, it will be on that way. Okay, so that's fine. Now in the product, we are having a VG of white. The text, it will be, all the text, it will be black, and we're gonna give a padding of 4, and then we're gonna make a border gray. This is the same, you can define as the way you want. And then we're gonna give a rounded of LG. As you see, the rounding is okay. And then I'm gonna make it as a group, because on hover, we're gonna having some interactivity, and then overflow will be hidden. So that is the thing. Now that image, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take this image inside another div. Inside another div, because we need to create, we will create that part in one way, that part in other way, so that we're gonna have that interactivity all together. So this is the local host. Now for our image, we need to go and give some more class name for it. The width will be defined, already defined, and height also defined, the same width and height. And then object, it will be cover to looks it a much more better. And then scale, we're gonna make a little bit in a shorter scale, and whenever we're gonna hover scale, it will be the full scale. Full scale. And transform, the transition gonna be transformed to coming in a smooth way. So as you see, once we hover, is giving a very smooth transitioning. And also in our top level of the div, what I'm gonna, it will be class name. I'm gonna give a width of full and height of, let's give 260 pixel, and I'm gonna make it as relative. So now as you see, the image is in the top, and once we hover, we're gonna having an effect and looks much more better. So now what we need to do after the image, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take an HR tag over here. So this is the image is finished over here, like the entire div of the image div. And now I'm gonna make an HR. As you see, that's the line is happening. So this is the line, the same line we are having here. So now we need to create those part. Once we hover, as you see, these two things is coming. So these are the two things we will create right now. And before creating, let's go and grab those icon for it. Okay. Okay. We're gonna use that one card icon and another icon. So these two icons we're gonna use. So under the image, okay, we're gonna use another div, and inside that div, we're gonna use that span tag, and inside that span tag, we're gonna use that one, and then we're gonna use there. So I think it will be visible as you see. And by the way, we are giving a overflow hidden. That's why the other one is just fall away. As you see, that's the one is available over here. And better to keep it as okay. I remove all the part. That's why. So overflow hidden. As you see, these two parts. So these two parts we need to work on. First of all, this entire div we're gonna customize. So what I'm gonna do, giving a class name, width of 12, height of 12, and then I'm gonna make it in absolute, and from the bottom it will be 10, and it will be in the right side. As you see, it's coming in the right. And after doing that, we're gonna give a border which will be 1 pixel, and then we're gonna make a border gray 400. Background, it will be white, or you can make it transparent because the previous one is already white. And that rounded, it will be MD flex in the column. And okay, pretty much right now that part. So now we need to make the other things looks much better. So height, not 12, it will be the 24. So that in that way we can recirculate all together. So now in the span tag, it's gonna take a full width and full height, and of course the border, it will be the similar border. Okay, that's the border it's gonna use. As you see, one is more like bigger, one is smaller, and this one it will be border B, the bottom part, and also it will be border be the bottom border, so it will not be overlap the other parts. Now it will make flex, item center, justify center to keep the icons in the center, and then the text Excel to let the icons looks much more bigger, and the BG it will be transparent background, and hover it will be Amazon yellow background, and the cursor pointer and duration it will be 300 as you see on hover, but it's getting overall every single thing is because the same class name, because we make it flex, so it's taking the okay, what I made wrong? I think nothing wrong. Okay. Okay. So now as you see on hover, we are having that effect. But right now we need to keep it outside the box, right? So on hover, it will come in the play. So now what I'm gonna make, translate X, I'm gonna make it as 20. As you're gonna see, it's gonna be out of the div. So now as you see in the parent is already group, so whenever we hover and on that group, it's gonna be translate X in 0, and the duration it will be 300. And of course we need to define that transition where it will be transform. As you see, it's over here, this is entire div as a group, so now it's giving me that. And also we're gonna make it as overflow hidden, and you see that's giving a very cool effect. And by the way, if you just come over here, is super responsive. Okay, you can just make some padding and other things, it will be simple. So now we are having the first part, so it's time to create our second part after that HR portion. And before the HR portion is done, what I want to do, I want to create another portion, which is that if the is new is available, and only then I'm gonna generate one p tag, which gonna be give us save, and that save gonna minus something, old price minus price. Okay, so as you see, that save 30 is available. And also what I'm gonna do, gonna give some class name, I'm gonna make it absolute, and from the top it will be 0, right, it will be 0, the text it will be Amazon blue, and then font it will be a medium, text extra small, and the tracking it will be, oops, not that one, it will be tracking white. And then okay, let's see, this is happening over here, and we're gonna use an animate which will be bounce, so the people can see it very quickly, like the same way. But as you see, our the price is not working the way it's supposed to be, and to do that, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create another component to actually declaring the price formation. And to do that, let's go to the components, take another file which will be formatted price.tsx rafce, and over here we're gonna declare how the price it will be. So first of all, we're gonna take a props which will be an amount, and interface props amount will be the number. Okay, so we're gonna declare as props, and over here we're gonna declare how the price look like. So the const for method amount, it will be that new, we're gonna take that new number, and inside that new number in the parameter we're gonna take that amount as a new number. Then we're gonna make it to local string, and that local string it will be that English, and of course it will be an US, because we want to pass the $1. And then we're gonna pass that style, and that style will be currency, and that currency it will be USD. And of course we need to make a minimum of fraction of digits, which will be 2. And now instead of taking it in a div, I'm gonna take it in a oops, not that. I'm gonna take it as in a span, and inside that span I'm gonna pass that, oops, I'm gonna pass that formatted amount. Now our amount should be easily passed on over here, and it will give you the looks like the dollar mark and with that $. So let's go to product. So instead of making that one, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just bring that formatted price, and if we save, it will be an NaN because the value is undefined. And to define that, we're gonna pass that amount, old price minus price. As you see, now it's better. So this is the top part. So now is the bottom part where will be our all other things. We're gonna create it also. To create that bottom part, let's go back to our code. And after that HR tag, I'm gonna take another div, and inside that div, I'm gonna pass other things. So now let's pass that category. As you see, okay, the category is available over here. So now in that div, let's make some class name for that. Class name, the padding in x-axis, it will be a 4. And then our padding in y-axis, it will be a 3. I'm gonna give a flex, make it a flex call, because the other things also will be available, and the gap, it will be just 1. So now in the p tag, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make it extra small text, and then the text, it will be a gray of 500, and then I'm gonna make it as tracking white. So this is the things we are doing for our category. And after that category, I'm gonna take another p tag, and then I'm gonna pass our title. And for the title, we want to make it looks much better so people can easily identify. And the text, it will be the base, and the font, it will be medium. So it looks much more better with that. And now after that, after the title, we're gonna give the price. And for that price, let's see how we have been created. We're giving one, okay, we are creating in that way. So for that, I'm gonna take a span tag, and remember, we are giving that formatted price, and that amount will be, first one, it will be the old price. As you see, all price is available. And the second one, the same way, inside that span tag, we're gonna have the new price. Okay. And also in that p tag, we're gonna have some, you can take a div also, that not be an issue. Flex item would be a center, and the gap, it will be 2. As you see, giving a gap with that. And now for the first span, I want to make that text as a small, and it will be line through. So there will be a line in between in the middle. And for the other one, which will be okay, the text, it will be Amazon blue text, and font, it will be semi-bold. As you see, that is very visible, but other one is just a little bit demotivated to see. So after giving that p tag, it's time for our description, but it's a very long description. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make it, because in the actual single page, we're gonna give a full description, but over here, I'm gonna make it as a substring, and inside that substring, I want to pass only 120 words. So this is the words I want to pass, and I want to make it text XS, and then the text gray of 600, and text justify. So now this is the text, and after that, we're gonna have our button. And for the button, it will be add to cart. And now let's go and give some design for our button. The class name, it will be height. We're gonna give a height of 10, and we're gonna make it the font, it will be a medium, and background, it will be Amazon blue, and the text, it will be white. As you see, it's visible right now, but let's make it more perfect on that way. And the rounded, it will be medium rounded, and whenever we're gonna hover, it's gonna be Amazon yellow, and whenever we're gonna hover the text, it will be black. And duration, we're gonna give a duration of 300, and margin of top, we're gonna give it 2. So now, as you see, once we hover, wow, that's giving an effect. And by the way, both other things also available over here. So now everything is looking perfect. So we are having our other pages, we are having our cart pages and others. So we need to create our store. Okay, so whenever we click in the card, where the product we want to save. So now we're gonna use that what you call that, Redux Toolkit. We're gonna use that Redux Toolkit to create our store for our today's build. To create the store, let's go to our quick start in the Redux Toolkit. So we need to install that Redux Toolkit and React Redux. So let's go in our terminal. Okay, we're gonna install both of it. Now, after installing, how we can follow through, we need to create one app which will be store, and we need to create that slice. So in our source folder, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take another folder where we're gonna keep our store. So first of all, the first thing we need to create that store.ts, not tsx. So now over here, what we're gonna do, we're gonna just implement that import configure store, and then we need to define that configuration. As you see over here, I'm gonna just copy paste that one. So now this is our store, but as we go over here, and now if we just go to our Redux, these things is coming from my previous build. It's a caching data. So let's reload that one. I suppose it should go. No, it's staying. So ignore that one because that's the data is coming from the previous. So we are already defined our configure store. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go in that underscore app.tsx. So now we need to link that one. We need to link that with our provider. The provider, it will be coming from that React Redux. So let's go to our over here, and we're gonna import the provider, and in the top level we're gonna wrap everything with that provider. And for that provider, we need to pass a value with store, and the store we have been just created, we're gonna pass it as that store value. And as you see, after doing that, it's gonna just re-render, and you see it's in it's ready to roll, but other state, the previous state, all have been gone. So now what we need to do, we need to create the slice. So we're gonna make next slice.ts. Now in here, we need to define all the slices. And first of all, let's go and import that create slice. Yeah, we need to import create slice from Redux Toolkit, and then we need to define our initial state. Which will be okay. There will be a 4 state, which will be product data first, and it will be an empty array, the first one, and then we're gonna have a favorite data, which also gonna be an empty array, and then we're gonna have all products, which is gonna be an empty array. Gonna be an empty array. Then we're gonna have our user info, because once anyone is logged in, it's gonna be in first it will be null, because whenever someone logged in, we're gonna pass that user info over here. We're gonna save it in our store. Okay, now we need to create our slice. So now export const next slice, and we're gonna pass that create slice, and under that create slice we're gonna pass everything as an object. We're gonna take name as next, and also we're gonna pass that our initial state by default, and then we need to declare our reducers. So reducers we're gonna pass as an object. First one, it will be add to cart, and over here we're gonna take two argument, state and action. And these two argument, first of all, state dot product data. So whatever the product data, it will be that will be action dot payload. That will be the product data for available data. So let's see first create that one, if we combine and if it's working or not. Then we're gonna create the other one, and then we're gonna make export const, and inside that add to cart. We're gonna export it from next slice dot actions, and after that we're gonna export default, and the default value, it will be next slice dot reducer. That's the default value we're gonna pass. So now we're gonna interconnect that one with our store. And what we need to do, we need to first import that one. So import next slice from the next slice. Sorry, it will not be the next slice, because we need to import that our next reducer, not slice, and it will be from the next slice. And first of all, we need to give it a name. It will be next, and that next, it will be the next reducer. So we are passing that reducer over here. So you're gonna reload that one, and in the state, as you see, we're gonna have all four state available over here. So product data, favorite data, all products, user info. So everything is available, but we created one single slice, which will be the add to cart, just to test if it's working or not. And that add to cart gonna be effective once we click on that add to cart button, right? So let's go inside that add to cart button and implement that one. First of all, we need to go to products. That's the one over here. And we need to create another things, which will be const dispatch with and we need to import it from that. Okay, it's not coming. Dispatch. Okay, why is not showing? Const dispatch, use dispatch. It supposed to show, because we need to get that dispatch from React Redux. So let's just do it manually. Import from React Redux. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I think something wrong when we install that one. React Redux is already installed. Okay, but it's giving the error. Use dispatch. Oh, okay, sorry, it's not a use dispatch, it will be. So now with that, we can dispatch the item wherever we want actually, and the brand we didn't use, but we need that brand later on. So now over here we can dispatch that one, and that dispatch we're gonna create using that on-click event. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create an on-click event. Let's make that function, and inside that on-click event we're gonna dispatch. And what we're gonna dispatch, we're gonna dispatch that action, which we're gonna be add to cart. And inside that add to cart, what we're gonna pass, we're gonna pass ID as ID, ID, and we're gonna pass that brand as the brand is available over here. We're gonna pass that category as category, and also we're gonna pass the image as image, description as description, is new as is new, and then old price, it will be the same old price, price, it will be the price, and then the title. Okay, the title. And remember, we don't have any quantity, how many quantity we want. So first of all, we need to define that quantity, that we want to pass a single item, a single bunch of quantity whenever we pass the item. So now, as you see, there is no more item in the product data. Once we click in the add to cart, it's supposed to send the data in that product data, but it's not giving. Let's just make a hot reload. Okay, something is wrong. We cannot see the value. So let's go to our store, and inside that store, okay, reducer, we give a name of that. Okay, I think we have some issue over here. That would be, yeah, we need to give a name. Okay, we give the name as a next, as a counter. We are passing that counter reducer. So as a, okay, a counter reducer, we are passing from the next slice, we are passing the next reducer. And in the next slice, add to cart, initial state dot product data equal to action dot payload. Okay. In that sense, what could go wrong? Okay. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just make another reload, because sometimes it can be a network error. Okay, first let's see where we create that on-click event. Inside the product button, add to cart. Okay, we are passing the same value. We are passing ID as ID. That should be fine. Okay. So far, we did everything right. I think something wrong with our code. As you see, on can play. It will be on click. So that's the name we made in a mistake. Just a silly mistake. So now if we click, as you see, the product data, we are having a product data. But if we click another one, as you see, it's replacing. But we don't want to replace. We want constants to upgrade with that data. And to do that, what we're gonna do, let's go to our next slice. And over here, inside here, what I'm gonna do, first of all, we're gonna get that existing item, existing product. I need to find the existing product. So that product, it will be state dot from their product data dot find, and it gonna find from that item. And then what we're gonna do, item dot id equal to action dot payload. So that will be our existing item. And by the way, that item will be the similar. For that, actually, we need to define a props, and that props, it will be responsible to define all the types for that store product. So let's go to type.d.tx. So we're gonna copy that other one. We're gonna give a name of that. It will be store product. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna add just one quantity, which will be the number, because previously we doesn't have any quantity. So now we can actually use that store product, that one as a type. So that is our existing item. If there is in the product, okay, what is going on in the type error, properties of undefined, this one is coming. Okay, this error is coming from nowhere. Okay, so now that will be our existing item. And now we need to pass a condition. So if there is an existing product is available, so now what you want, that existing product dot quantity, it will be a plus equal to, so with that quantity it will be that action dot payload dot quantity. So it's gonna match through with that quantity, okay, whatever the existing product we have. So now there is a no type which is mass matching for that, and else otherwise state dot sorry, it will not be all products, it will be product data dot push. We're gonna push that action dot payload. So now that action quantity, it's not gonna match because we need to predefine our all over the state over here. And to make it predefined, what we're gonna do, we're gonna make interface, it will be next state, and inside that state we're gonna define that product data, which will be that store product, it will be store product or an empty array. And then we're gonna make favorite data, which also gonna be store products and coming with an array. Oops, it will be a comma. And then we're gonna have that all products, which also gonna be store product. And by the way, and then we're gonna have another user info, and it can be null or it can be as a string. So we can pass in that way. So that initial state, it gonna pass as a next state. As you see, after doing that, all the error is gone. So we are just defining what the state will be initially. And also, if you come over here, if we add one product, as you see, it's coming a single product with one ID. And if we add another product, it's just adding that ID. And if we adding the same product again, okay, that is okay, that's a 544. So if we add the same product, I don't know why it's replacing that, something wrong again. So now if there is an existing product dot quantity action dot payload dot quantity, okay. So now const existing item is this dot state dot product data dot find. We are finding from that store product item dot id action dot payload dot id. We need to match that with that id. So just because we are just replacing with that product, it should be matching with the id. So now we have 3055. If we have that adding the same product, as you see, we're increasing the quantity. If we add another one, it's just adding another one. So now we are having that our add to cart. So what I'm gonna do, let's go and create all the like reducers over here, slices over here. Then we're gonna implement it that one. So now then we're gonna make it add to favorite, and add to favorite also it gonna take a state and action. And then also we're gonna pass that method which gonna get that favorite item. And instead of product data, we're gonna pass that through the favorite data. We're gonna just rotating through it. And then what we're gonna do, if there is a favorite data, the same conclusion we're gonna pass that in the same value, okay. And after that favorite data, we're gonna have another one which will be increase quantity, okay. So increase quantity, what it gonna be, it gonna be the same way, state and action. So and inside that, actually this the same behavior it gonna pass all over. You can write it and keep it in a simple way, the way you find it better. So now in that increasing quantity, what we're gonna do, we're gonna pass a method which will be that that quantity, because sometimes when we are increasing the quantity, we want to increase one by one. So to do that, okay, we're not passing that. Like if we have that existing product, if there is existing product, then what you're gonna do, existing product dot quantity plus plus. If there is a product available, whenever we click on the increase button, it will increase the product. So now we need to create that decrease quantity. Decrease quantity, and also it's gonna pass that state and action. And now we need to find that existing item, because now we need to defer a method, because you can add after 1 2 3, but whenever we are closing down like -2 1, then you're gonna come -1 -2. We need to stop that one. So to stop that, what we're gonna do, if existing a product dot, of course the product will be there, quantity, if that quantity is equal to 1, so if there is a single product available, the existing product dot quantity equal to, it will be the 1, the single product. Or else, if there is more than like 1 or more than 1, then the existing product dot quantity, it will be minus minus. And by the way, it will not be the, we need to define it as it will be available, not in that question mark. So now we are defining our existing increasing and decreasing. And after that, what we also need another one, which will be responsible for the delete product. And for that, we need to make, and now to delete the product, because we will delete that product data. So now that is state.product data, and then we're gonna make state.product data. We will use that filter method to wipe out whatever the ID we are passing. So now we are passing that item, and that item.id, it will be not equal to, means it's gonna be removed. So whatever we're gonna passing on that action, because we're gonna pass an ID on that action, of course, and whatever we're gonna pass in the payload, it's gonna fetch that ID and it's gonna remove whatever item is matched with that. It will unmatch and it's gonna remove it. And then we're gonna have that receipt card, and inside that receipt card we're gonna pass one single state, and that state is gonna be responsible that state dot product data. What it gonna do, it gonna just empty that all the product data previously available. It gonna remove all the product data and make an empty state. So that will be the receipt card. And now we're gonna create another one, which will be the add user and state and action. Then state dot user info equal to action dot payload. So that is our add user, and also that remove user, it will be the similar, and we need that state, only the state we require. So whenever we are calling that remove user, just need to put a comma, we need that state dot user info. We will just pass it as a null value. And now we will pass another one, which will be set all products. Be careful what I'm typing, because later on when it will gonna go through an action, you will really feel how cool it is. And for that one, state dot all products, we're gonna pass it action dot payload. So whatever we're gonna pass inside the payload, because we're gonna give all the products inside the payload. And now we will need to pass that. So add to favorite, increase quantity, decrease quantity, and then delete product, receipt product, and then add user, remove user, and also set all products. So we are passing all other things, and now it will be in action. So let's go. We are just only having to make only one. So also what we're gonna do, we're gonna pass that method to our another one. As you see, there is another icon available, which is for our shopping cart icon. We're gonna pass that method over here too. So now if we just click, you see that also adding the product. So now we are having the product, and everything is because once we just reload, the product is removing. So to not to remove that one, what we're gonna do, we're gonna use that persist. We're gonna use that Redux persist to save the product in real time, because I know there will be no issue with the item, whatever we are keeping that reducer. So what I'm gonna do, npm install, we're gonna use that Redux persist to save the product in real time. And how we gonna implement that one over there, we need to import all other things. I'm gonna close that. Because configure is true, we have been done, we need to make that persist get and others. So let's go and import that. Okay, after the next reducer, we're gonna use that one. After that, we need to import that, or I believe okay. Okay, we need to implement that, and inside the root reducer, we're gonna pass that as a next reducer. And as you see, we are having already this part. So I'm gonna copy that and I'm gonna implement that one here. And inside that persist, I'm gonna pass the name as the next. And also we need to export that. So we are exporting the persist, and now we need to use that persister as within the persist get. So let's copy that persist get, and remember where we declare underscore app. So we're gonna implement that one over here, and after the provider, we're gonna pass that persist get, and that persist get, it will take as a persister, and that persister we're gonna define already, and then it's gonna be loading null. So now if everything is right, we will be able to save our products in real time. So the persist get is not required here. So this will be responsible to save our products in real time. So now if we just add 1, 2, 3, nothing is happening. We made some error, I think. Okay, no, it's happening. It just take a bit of time to load. And also we can, if we add some product from here, okay, the product is saving in real time. So now we need to get that product to show the product in the header so that we can know that product is adding. And to do that, first of all, let's head back to header, and here we're gonna get our product. We're gonna get two products. One will be the filter product, one will be the like favorite product and other products. So as we everything gonna get from there, so what I'm gonna do, code a product data and favorite product, I believe, favorite data or favorite product, favorite data. Let's see what we define over here. Yeah, favorite data, and we're gonna use that use selector. I don't know why it's not giving me the auto import. Use selector. That will be the state.next. And we're gonna import that. Okay, let's go and use, we're gonna import it from React Redux. Okay. Now, if we just make console.log, it will be product data. So if everything right, we can see the product data as you see. Okay, let us give the time to reload. That product data is available. But once we add the product data, we are having another error with that state. If we just type state as any state, the error will be gone. But I don't want to type any state because we can define the state. To define the state, let's go to that our type.d.ts, and again we're gonna export another interface from here, and it will be that state props. And first of all, the product data, which gonna be an array, and favorite data also gonna be an array, and then user info, it gonna be null, which is string, and next it can be anything. So now if we go to header, we're gonna pass it as a state props. As you see, error is gone, and if we use that favorite data, it should come. Okay, what's going on over here? As you see, so now we are having that product data from the card, but we don't have any favorite data because we didn't create anything for that once we click. So let's go to our product value. Now over here, I think the bottom one is for that. On click, we're gonna make it dispatch, and I think add to favorite, yes. And we're gonna pass that same method, the same things. So I'm gonna just take those things. Now our favorite value is empty, as you see, nothing there. But if we click, as you see, we are having two favorite value. So it's time to show that value inside our card and favorite, and show it to the card is pretty simple. Wherever we are having that our card icon. Okay, shopping cart, that's the icon. Okay, let me find out. We're having our image, then we are having our add to cart. What? Actually, we need to find it in the header. Yeah, we are looking in the wrong way. So I'm gonna just remove that console, and now that will be our favorite. So we just gonna pass a simple method to define if we have the like if we what will be whenever we are having a product, what it gonna show. If we don't have the product, what it gonna show. So now if we have the product data, so it will be the product data dot length, and otherwise it will keep as 0. So after saving, as you see, we can see our product. I don't know why it's loading too much. Okay, and now we can also need to show our favorite item. So to do that, it will be we need to go to inside our favorite item. That is our favorite, and now we will create another span over here, span, and inside that okay, not first the span. So first of all, we will pass the condition, because we want to show it once the favorite data dot length is bigger than 0, only then it gonna show. Otherwise there will be nothing to show. And then we're gonna give a span, which will be that favorite data dot length. So that will be our favorite data. And now we can actually redefine that span tag in a way. So first of all, we're going to give a class name. I'm going to make it as absolute. As you see, you can see that item is over here. So we're going to make it in absolute, and then from the right side, it's going to be 2. And from the top, it will be 2. And weight 4. And height also, it will be a 4. And then border, it will be 1 pixel. And that border gray. And I'm going to give a 400 flex item. It will be item center, justify a center. Text, it will be extra small, and the text, it will be Amazon blue. And after saving that, we're gonna see the result we are looking forward. As you see, okay, because we need to make that div as relative, because we are making that one that is span as absolute. So we need to create that div as relative. As you see, we are having a favorite data. If we add more, we're gonna have. Now, once we click, we can go through that our cart page. Now we need to show our cart items, because items available there. So only then we can re-render everything. So let's go inside our cart page. So inside that cart page, we're gonna just fetch everything from the top. So to do that, first of all, remember how we do that. Product data, we use that product data. We're using I don't know why it's not showing that selector, and that state, it will be state props, yes, and that will be state dot next, and we need to import that. Use selector, it will be from React Redux. Okay, so now if we just make the console.log, we can see the product data, and we are having all the items available here. So I'm gonna remove that. And now what I'm gonna do, first of all, in the top level of the div, give a max width of screen that 2 pixel, and mx, it will be auto, px, it will be 6. And first of all, it will be a grid pattern, and then it will be grid calls of 5 to make it looks in a bit good way. And then I'm gonna give a gap of 10, and padding in y-axis, it will be 4. So that will be the probably everything for our cart page for the designing in the top level. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make a product data dot map, and inside that not the map actually, it will be product data dot length. If there is product data is bigger than 0, so we need to find the length, and then what we gonna pass, and if it's not, then what we gonna pass. So these two things will be available. So first of all, if okay, where is showing that bigger than 0, it's gonna pass. So first of all, there will be one div, and there will be another div. So if there is no product data, what we want to pass, we're gonna pass one h1 tag, which we're gonna give your card is empty, and then we're gonna give a button which will be make go to shopping. So this will be available for that. So we're gonna come back later on just to keep it in that way. And now what we're gonna pass inside that product data. So first of all, let's if there is the product data, we're gonna just put an empty braces, because we're gonna make some styling things over here, and we're gonna pass one div, and then we're gonna pass another div. Then we're gonna make a p tag, which will be first one, it will be a shopping cart, and as you see, it's available there. And in the top level, what I'm gonna do, give a class name, and bg, it will be white, and call span, we're gonna give a span, a call span of 4, because we give a 5, so we're gonna take a call span of 4, and the padding, we're gonna give a padding of 4, and then we're gonna make it rounded as LG. So that's the things we create, because this will be the shopping cart, there will be the payment option. So these two things you're gonna create simultaneously. And the other one, flex item center, it will be justify between, and that border B, it will be 1 pixel, and the border B, it will be the gray, and the gray, it will be 400, and padding in B, it will be 1. As you see, that's the portion. And for that p tag, what we're gonna do, give a class name text to Excel, font, it will be not the serif, semi-bold, and the text, it will be Amazon blue. So that will be our text for that. And another one, it will be subtitle, which will be the other side, because it's already the flex between. And for the subtitle portion, let's give a class name text LG, and then on semi-bold, and the same way text Amazon blue. So that's the two things. Now we need to re-render our product. So after that div, we're gonna initialize our product. So take oops, not the div, it will be div, and inside the div we need to render the product data. So product data dot map, we need to pass that item, and the item, it will be that store our product, the types for that product, it will be that. And then we're gonna pass a div, and inside that div I'm gonna pass a p tag, and let's just pass item dot, let's just give a brand. As you see, we are having a 5 product, so it's giving other 5 brand. And now we need to pass a key, which will be the item dot id, and also we need to give class name for it, class name, which will be the padding from the top, top, it will be 2, give a little bit bit of room, and then a flex call gap, it will be 2. So this will be that. And now we need to render another thing. So what I'm gonna do, inside the component, I'm gonna take another one, which will be the card product.tsx rafce. Now we need to render that card product instead of this one. So let's add card product. Okay, card product, and we're gonna pass item as item. Now we can find whatever was happening inside that card product. So inside that card product, what I'm gonna do, remember, we are passing that item as a card product, as we are passing initially in the page props. So it will not be work in the previous way. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make an interface, which will be the item, and inside that interface we're gonna have ID. I think let's go back to our here. So we're gonna just get everything, and I'm gonna pass it here, and then interface, which will be card products props, and then we're gonna pass that item as item, item as item, and then I'm gonna pass that as card product props. As you see, the error is gone. So now in the div, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give a background of gray is 100, and the rounded, it will be LG, and then it will be a flex item center gap, it will be 4. So now instead of this one, I'm gonna take an image from the next image, and the source, it will be item.image, and it will be product image. As you see, it will not be available because we need to give width and height for it. Width, it will be 150, height, it will be 150, and after giving that, you're gonna see that product is available. I'm gonna remove that. So that's the product mark is happening. Now, after giving that image, also we can give a image some class name, which will be object cover, to just put it in a safe way. And now, after the image, we're gonna take another div, and inside that div, we're gonna keep other things. So inside, I think inside that div, okay, let's see what's the design we are having. That let's add some card. Okay, we're gonna have that design portion. So to implement that, inside that div, I'm gonna take another div, and then I'm gonna make that item dot title. So this is the item dot title, and first of all, let's go in the top level of the div, and the class name, I'm gonna make it flex item center, and padding in x-axis 2, and the gap of 4. Okay, and inside that div, flex call, and the gap will be 1. So first of all, we are having the title, and then another p tag, which will be that item dot description. As you see that now pouring the details. For the first one, it will be the text, it will be LG, font, it will be semi bold, and text Amazon blue. So that's the first one. And for the p tag, for the description, text SM, text gray, let's give as 600. So this is for the text for the p tag. And now for another p, which will be the unit price, and in the span tag, which we have that, we're gonna pass that formatted price, and that in the amount, we're gonna price that item dot price. And also in the top level, we're gonna text SM, and the text gray of 600. But over here for the price, we want to emphasize the price. Class name, font, semi bold, and text, it will be Amazon blue. As you see, that looks a bit of similar with that. Yeah, it's much similar. So now we need to create this portion, that effect for the button. So after that div, we're gonna take another div, and then inside that, I'm gonna take another div, because we're gonna pass a 2 portion for that. First of all, we need to have 2 icons. So I'm gonna get that 2 icon, which I'm gonna import from that React icon. So first of all, let's go inside over here in the div. So what we're gonna do inside that div, I'm gonna pass a span tag. First of all, it will be plus icon, and then it will be another, oops, where I am. Okay, span, it will be item dot quantity, and then another item, so sorry, span, and then minus icon. So in that way, it will be these 2 icon. As you see, that is happening in a very other way. So I believe this entire portion, oops, yeah, that entire portion, it gonna be over here. Okay, that not looks the way it's supposed to be. Let me get it through after the p tag, I believe. Yeah, I think it will go to after the p tag. Yes, after the p tag, not over here. Okay, so after the p tag, it will be available. So now in that div, we're gonna make it flex item center, and we're gonna give a gap of 6. As you see, it's coming in place altogether. And now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pass all together inside the div right now. And in that div, I'm gonna work in that way. So the class name flex, and item center, justify center, and empty in it will be 1. So from the top, it will be a little bit a lower side, and justify between. Oops. No, it's center. It will be the between. Okay. Border gray of 300, padding in x-axis 4, padding in y-axis 1. Okay, that looks better, coming in a shape. And the rounded, it will be a fully rounded, and width will be 28. Oops. It will be shadow, it will be LG. Oops. It will be shadow gray, and we're gonna give a shadow of 300. So now if we just look at over here, you see, now we need to create that effect with each and other button. And to create that, we're gonna create it inside that span. So let's go and give a class name, which will be width of 6, height of 6, flex item center, justify center, rounded, it will be a full, and text, the base text which is happening, and bg, it will be transparent bg, over bg gray of 300, cursor pointer, and the duration, it will be 300. The first one is happening, the same procedure it gonna be happen for the other one. So in that span tag, we're gonna do it. And now after having this portion, as you see, we're gonna also having a delete button, right? And to give the delete button, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take another, oops, why I'm putting dog. Okay, I'm gonna take another div, and inside that div, okay, it's not giving me the auto import. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just give that icon for that close icon, which I'm gonna use to make that remove product. Let's implement that, which will be IOMD close. As you see, that is available over here. And after that, I'm gonna having a p tag. Let's see what it's gonna show as remove. And for that one, I'm gonna give it empty of 2 pixel to just be coming in a top level, because what we're gonna do, we're gonna make it flex item center, and text, it will be SM, font, it will be medium, text gray of 400, uber, text red, which will be, oops, not 700, we're gonna give a 600, cursor pointer, and the duration, it will be 300. So now, as you see, it's giving me that effect. So now, and after doing that, there is any other thing, and we need to have that subtitle price. So not subtitle, subtotal price, sorry. So we need to having that subtotal price. So for to do that, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give another div, and inside that div, we're gonna pass that formatted price as, and the amount, it will be item.price into item.quantity. As you see, that price is available over here. Let's go and grab some class name for that. Text, it will be LG, font, it will be semi-bold, and text, it will be Amazon Blue. So now we are having that. So now we need to implement that three things, three dispatch we're gonna create over here. So to create that dispatch, it will be use dispatch. So it will be use make Redux. So first one, we're gonna create as increase quantity. And to create that, we need to go through with that plus, and let's go and create that on click, which gonna be dispatch. And that dispatch, it will be increased quantity, and inside that increased quantity we're gonna pass the same value as we have been done before. So let's go to products, we're gonna pass the same value from there. So we're gonna pass it, but their name is different over here, so we need to implement that. It will be item dot id and others, and the other one which are gonna be decrease quantity, that's the one, dispatch decrease quantity, and we're gonna pass that same method for that. Okay, by the way, I'm importing all the other things. You see, it's importing from the next slide, so you need to find out if it's importing or not. So let's add okay, okay, something is showing wrong with my next slice. Okay. Inside the next slice, what is showing over here? If product existing product dot quantity equal to 1, it will be existing product equal to 1, else existing product dot quantity, so the quantity it will be available, and then it will be minus minus. So what's wrong with that? Okay, let's just give a hot reload. Sometimes it's okay. No. Okay, existing product is cannot type undefined reading quantity. Okay, existing product, store product. In that store product, we have that quantity. Yes. Okay. Where we are missing something, const existing product. Okay, because we made a mistake, because we need to find that product from that product data, not from the favorite product, because favorite product, it may be empty, because we need to find that with our product data, not from the favorite product. It's a silly mistake. So now it will add, as you see. And let's go and create that remove product. And to do that, card product, and we're gonna pass that inside our to remove the product, which we are having that over here. We're gonna pass that. We're gonna pass a dispatch, which will be delete product, and there we're gonna pass that item.id. So in that way, it will match through the ID, filter through the ID, and it's gonna remove that. As you see, we can add, we can remove, and now we need to create another portion, which will be our, like that, remove the entire product, right? And to do that, we need to create that receipt card, and that receipt card, it will be after that. And what we're gonna do, it will gonna inside the component, it will be receiptcard.tsx rafce, and now I'm gonna import that. Oops, receipt card. So this is the receipt card over here. So now let's go and work with that receipt card. So first of all, what we're gonna do, inside that receipt card, it's gonna be a button, and it will be receipt card, and let's make that button is a designer purpose. So the class name, oops, width will be 44, and height it's gonna be 10. Font it will be semi bold. BG it will be a gray of 200. Rounded LG, and it gonna be, once we hover the BG it will be red 600, and hover, oops, text it will be white, duration it will be 300. As you see, now there is some gapping issue. We can fix it inside that card. As you see on the card level, I think over here in the top we can make a class name with a padding top of 2, and actually that will not be that padding. As you see, oops, this padding also will work. So padding top of 2, flex call, and the gap will also be 2. So now as you see, our receipt card finding the gap. Okay, I think this portion it not be here. Yeah, it will be here. That's why this is not finding. So now we need to click, like make that receipt card, whatever the thing will be there. So first of all, we'll create an on-click function, handle receipt card, and to do that, handle receipt card. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna go to card products, and then I'm gonna copy that because for some reason it's not working in my PC. So now const dispatch, use dispatch. And by the way, once we click in the receipt card, we need to get that alert from the window. And to create that one, we need to make that const confirm receipt, and that will be window dot confirm, because that's the one coming from the window. And they're gonna message will be, are you sure to receive your card? No, receive your items from the card. And now if the confirmation, that confirm receipt, whatever is coming, so if there is confirm receipt, then what we're gonna do, we're gonna pass a dispatch, and then in the dispatch we're gonna make that receipt card. Okay, so if that receipt is yes, we're gonna receive the card. If it's no, it's gonna come in a previous section. If we keep the cancel, the card will be there. If we just receive the card, as you see, your card is empty. Go back to shopping. So now we need to create the other side, whichever we are keep on pending beforehand. As you see, that's the one. So background it will be white, and height gonna be 64, and call span. Okay, call span, we're gonna give a full call span of 5, and then we're gonna make a flex call, item center, justify center, padding in y-axis of 5, and then rounded it will be LG, and then shadow, oops, also it will be LG. As you see, it's available over here, and that H1 tag, we're gonna make it as a text LG font medium. So that's the text, and go back to shopping, which will be, we're gonna just put it, wrap it inside a link object, and it gonna take its href. It's gonna take us to the home. And also for that one, we're gonna give 52, height of 10, 10, page Amazon blue, text white, rounded LG. Text will be small text, and font it will be semi-bold, and whenever we hover, it will be the background, it will be Amazon blue. Hover, text will be black. So now we can, so once you click and go back to shopping, it will take us to there. So let's add more products on the cart. As you see, the products is in the cart. So now what we need to do, after the receipt one, we need to create another div, and then we're gonna use that cart payment. So over here, it will be payment.tsx. Also, we're gonna link it. It's cart payment. So now you can see the cart payment. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a div, and which will be a busy white, and height, I'm gonna give it 64 of height, call a span of 1, and padding, it gonna be a 4, rounded, gonna be LG, flex item center, justify center, as you see. And now we're gonna make these things with that cart payment. First of all, inside the div, I'm gonna use one, I'm gonna use one icon. So let's go and grab this icon. So that's the icon I'm gonna use. And after that div, I'm gonna take another div, and inside that div, I'm gonna use that icon, and that is span SI market, as you see. Okay, that's still not okay. That's the icon. So first of all, in the top level of the div, give a class name flex call, and the gap it will be 4. It will be 4. And for the second one, also gonna give a class name flex, and the gap it will be 2. So now with this span tag, class name bg green of 600, rounded it will be full, and then padding 1, height will be 6, with 6, text sm, and the text it will be white, flex item center, justify center, and empty it will be 1. That's the one we have been created. And after that span tag, we're gonna have a p tag, which is gonna be saying your, just passing a simple message, which is passing that your items is qualifies for free shipping by choosing options of checkout. Just a simple text, which is gonna be decoration, and the text it will be a small text, as you see, that is available. And after that, we need to find out the total price. So we need to show the total price. If you see in the card, we are showing the total price, the available price. So to do that, after that div, we're gonna take a p tag, which it will be total, and then we're gonna make a span tag. The formatted price, it will be the, inside the amount we need to put the total price. And before do that, let's just go and make some class name for that flex it will be item center justify between, okay, and the px of 2, and font it will be semi-bold, okay. And for the span tag, class name font bold text Excel, okay. So now we need to find out the total item. And to find out the total item, first of all, we need to get our item from the store. So first of all, let's get that const product data, and it will be giving me a pain. Okay, let's just, because we're gonna use that, use selector and use dispatch, both of that. Use selector, and we're gonna pass that as a state, and that state it will be state props next dot, no, not the next, it will be state dot next. So now we are having that product data. So after having that product data, we need to pass a value which will be const total amount, and then let's just put total amount, and then set total amount use state. First, it will, by default it will be 0. So now if we just pass the total amount as a value, it will also show us as 0 because we are passing is 0. So now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna make it use effect. And inside that use effect, I'm gonna pass get a variable, let amount equal to 0. And now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go through that product data, which will be same with the store product because we are gonna having that item there. And after mapping all of that, the amount, it will be all the item plus the item dot price into item dot quantity. So that will be the amount, and we're gonna return. And after returning that, we're gonna get the set total amount as the amount we are having. And by the way, whenever there is a change on that product data, the total amount will vary. As you see, we're having that. So now if we add and if we remove, delete, the item is changing. So now that thing is done, and now we need to create, and after that API tag, we need to create that another div, and another div, and inside that div we're gonna have a button which will say proceed to buy. So after that text, there will be another text which will be please log into continue. And now to just go that through, what I'm gonna do for that button, we're gonna give some class name, as you see, because we giving a weight and height, and we are making a cursor not allowed, because what do you want? We want once anyone is logged in, only then they can access that button. So we're gonna pass that message in that way. Okay. And to make it all in between in the center, what I'm gonna do, class name flex call item center. So now we are having that, we are having our product, we are having our button. So now what we need to do, we need to create our user, and we will do it using Next-Auth. And to implement our authentication, we're gonna use that auth.js, which is previously known as Next-Auth.js. So let's go get started. Our first introduction, okay, that's their new homepage, and we're gonna set up with O-auth authentication. And first of all, we need to install that one. So let's go back to our terminal. we're gonna install our Next-Auth. And after that, we need to create a folder inside our API. So that's the API. So the folder, it will be a folder, not file, auth. And inside that folder, we need to get that file. Okay. And now what you need to do, you need to import that all other things. Okay, there will be I. Okay, so now we need to pass those things to implement that, and also we need to create one env dot local, not dot env dot local. So now here we need to pass several things. First one, it will be our GitHub ID, and then it will be our GitHub secrets. And also we need to pass two other variable, which is, it will be for our the auth we are using, the Next-Auth URL, and also we need to pass our Next-Auth secrets. Okay, the Next-Auth URL will be the URL we are using. If we go back to our home page, the URL we are using, that's localhost 3000. And the other one, you can just put any like any generated O-auth. As you see, the 64-bit. If we just want to generate from here, you can just go to that link and it will gonna be generate one. Let it be generated. So we need to having that, and now we need to have that GitHub ID and GitHub secret. So first of all, instead of generating, I can type anything, any number or any text. It will be my secrets, but we need to match that once we are deploying. Okay, it's already generating as auto. So just put that here. So now we need to have that GitHub ID and GitHub secret. And to do that, first of all, I will go to my github.com. And from here, once you are going to your account, go to settings. And from the settings, you need to go to the developer settings. And from the developer settings, you need to go to O-auth apps. And now in the O-auth apps, I'm going to get a new apps, which will be Next, Amazon. Okay, Amazon YT. And that homepage URL, which will be localhost 3000. And the callback URL, which will be that localhost 3000 API callback GitHub. And now I'm gonna register my account. Sorry, not the account, my app. So I'm gonna get that client ID as my client ID. And also I'm gonna get my client secret, which I need to generate, and I need to give my password. And by the way, you can don't copy paste that one, because I'm gonna delete that apps after I finish that project. And now even the error is there, so I need to tell the TypeScript that this value will be available there. So now I'm gonna having that variable too in work. So let's close that. Let's go there. So what I need to do, I need to wrap everything, that provider and others, to use that one. And where I can do that, I can do that in my _app.js. So I'm gonna close others and let's go to _app.js. And first of all, let's import that session provider. Let's paste it over here. And now I'm gonna use that session provider after the persist reducer. And now I'm gonna paste everything, and inside that provider, as you see over the page props, we need to modify our page props. So that is the page props. We need to pass that value for the page props. And for that session provider, we need to pass a session, which will be the session. Now let's go back to localhost, and after doing that implementation, we need to get this value, that use session sign in and sign out. And of course, we're gonna do it inside our components, and then it will go back to our header. So now, first of all, we need to find if there is a session available or not. So to do that, we need to pass that variable. Okay. And we don't want to see the status. We just see the use session variable. So let's see console.log session, if there is a session available or not. Okay. Let's just make a reload. It should be shown here. Okay. So use session is coming with this from the session. As you see, the session is undefined and null. So there is no session available. Okay, all is coming from the header. So first of all, what we can do to make that happen, because we don't have any session right now, so we need to create a session. And to create the session, we need to implement that sign-in option. To do that, implementation, as you see, we're having, okay, we will keep that console.log. And that's the one, I believe, over here, not the market, account and list. So we're gonna make that, oops, not on play, on click. And then we're gonna make sign in. So that's the function will be responsible to create that sign in for our page. Now, if we click, it's gonna take us to that GitHub sign in, and once we click, it's gonna redirect. It will be, see, it's asking me the permission. I will authorize that one, and now it's gonna be redirect me back to my page. As you see, I am having a user and I'm having a session. So now I need to catch that session data as I am having that session. And to catch that, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make an use effect. Make an use effect. And inside that use effect, I'm gonna pass that if there is a session available, then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna dispatch a method. Of course, I need to get the dispatch from there. Okay, I believe we take use selector. Okay. Gonna pass also use dispatch. Still not be. Use dispatch. So whenever we have the session, we're gonna dispatch an action, and that dispatch, it will be add user, and inside that add user, I'm gonna pass that name, and the name will be the session dot user, oops, dot name, and that email, oops, it will be email session dot user dot email, and the image, which will be session dot user dot image. So we're gonna pass that one, and it's gonna be affected whenever the session is changing. It's gonna be re-render on that scene. Okay, so if the session is changed, the data will be changed. Okay, so now we have the favorite data, and from that favorite data, can also take that user info, so that items will be available also. So now if we go to our Redux, and if we just make it a little bit bigger, as you see, we are having a user info data available, which is coming from the session. Now we can re-render that properties and can make the way we want. So first of all, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go through that entire user info. That's the user info. So I'm gonna copy that. If there is user info, and if there is no user info. So if there is no user info, it will be that one, hello sign in. If there is user info, I'm going to remove that on click event. As you see, if we click, it will not redirect because I removed that. So now we need to arrange that functionality over here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take an image. I'm not gonna using the next image. I'm gonna use a normal image. So user info dot image. It will be user image, and that class name, which will be 8, height, it will be 8, and that rounded, it will be full object cover. As you see, we're having an image, and then after the image, we're gonna take another div, and inside the div, it will be a p tag, which will be user info dot name, and another p tag, which gonna be combine that user info dot email. As you see, both values are all together there. So in the top level of that particular div, what I'm gonna do, instead of keeping the previous value, I'm gonna just modify that value in a way. Now you can see it's coming all together. Let's give a text of extra small and text of gray 100, flex call, justify between. So that's the one. And for the first one, the class name, the text will be white for the name, and font, it will be bold. So as you see, now we can see that. And also, as you see, the sign out, we need to make that implicitly useful. So how we can do that? So let's go to our bottom header, and inside that bottom header, we need to implement that that procedure. And to do that, we need that same user info we are having. So let's go back over here. We will take that. We're gonna paste it over here. We just need that user info. And also we need that, and this button will be available. So whenever the user info is not available, this button will be gone. So now on that button, we're gonna make a functionality. We're gonna make it as a button. Click, handle, sign out. And now what we can do, const handle sign out. First of all, it will be make it a sign out, and second, it's gonna be dispatch, and that dispatch will be that remove user. So it's gonna make oops, it will not be in that way. Sorry, I just, okay, I think I put that inside my sign out function. Okay, so it's gonna remove the user from there on. It's gonna be sign out. So if I click the sign out, you see that user is removed and is redirecting to that page. If I just click the sign in, it's gonna take me to the sign in with GitHub, and then every single details is available. And also we need to authenticate to that page, because once we sign in, we supposed to be like work with that, right? So let's go to the card payment, and inside that card payment, we need to modify that one. So first of all, in that button, okay, this is the button. I'm gonna take all of these properties. Oops. Before going that, we need that user info, right? User info. So now let's cut that, and if user info available, what it gonna do? If not available, what it gonna do? So just we need to change some variable. If there is user info, we no need that text. First of all, you see the text is gone, and now instead of the previous one, we need to just we need to allow the cursor. I think that will be that position only. As you see, we need to allow the cursor, and bj it will be Amazon blue. Okay. Mm, 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 mm. Okay. Okay, let's go and grab me those things for it. And I'm gonna pass that as variable. So now, as you see, now it's able to create that proceed to buy. So these things is able to create the checkout session. So by the way, we can go through with that whatever with the search input, we're gonna go that. So we're gonna create that page once we are going to create that search input. Before that, we're gonna already having everything done, so we can create that checkout portion. And by the way, if you want to create another portion for that, like the Gmail and others, I have other video also where you can find the way. Just for this build, I'm gonna use that because in my other build there is a lot of like sign in with Google, Facebook, and it just simply adding the app and then creating that credential for that. So you can go through. Also, like if you want to go through that Google, you need to go through the Google Search Console, and inside the Search Console you need to create your app. So if I just come over here in my Search Console, not the Google Search Console, actually it will be Google Cloud Console. So if we just come over the Google Cloud Console, from there we can take the hint. So first of all, what we need to do, we need to get the provider. It will be oops, that's the GitHub provider. It will be Google provider. So we need to I believe Google provider. Okay, let me grab these things. Okay, that one it will be in that way, Google provider. And also we need to import that Google provider here. And now we need to import that secret, which will be the Google client ID, and another it will be Google client secret. And now we need to create our application, then we need to create that. So we are here in the Google Search Console. So let's go back to my console, and then I will create another application, the new project, which the project name it will be next underscore Amazon underscore YT. So let's create that. Okay. Amazon YT. Let's create. And after create, we need to go through that. So it just creating, not yet be done. Okay. Now next Amazon YT is created. After that, we need to go to API. We need to go to the credentials. And inside that credential, because by default, we need to make that configure that consent screen. And on that screen, we need to change other things. First of all, let's make it as external, create an app name. It will be Amazon, okay, Amazon YT. The mail, it will be my mail. Okay, give it that mail. And the email, okay, let's create. because you need to finish the setup, otherwise it will not work, and save and continue, and then you can add users. So by default I want all the users to do it. So back to dashboard, and after going back to dashboard, let's go to again to the credential, and now we will be able to create the credential we want to create for that O-auth client ID. And now it will be the web application, and for the URI, what we want that URI to be passed over here. Remember that URI, and let's just show how you can add that another URI. So if we just get that client ID, as you see, that will be my Google client ID, and that will be my client secret. Of course, I'm going to remove that, so even you copy paste, it will not work. So let's go to my over here and sign out, and now we can sign in with the Google. As you see, once you click sign in, we having an error because we need to get that URI to that Google. So what I'm gonna do in that web client, I'm gonna pass that URI as a callback URI. So now if we just go back to my local host and let's sign in again with that Google, now I can sign in with any of my Google accounts. So it's gonna do the same thing, redirect and do other things. It's very simple. So other authentication, if you want, you can do it, but for right now that will be fine for me. So now it's time to get with that Stripe.js. So let's implement the payment option with this Stripe. And to do that, I'll go back to my dashboard, and inside that dashboard, if you have an account, you can go to the dashboard, and then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create a new account, and in that account, which I'm gonna do, I'm gonna implement the other things, which will be Next Amazon, or actually I have already one account which is Next Amazon YT, so I'm gonna use that one. In same way you can create or you can use your existing account. So I think the payment, yeah, I have been done some payment over here. So what you need to do, actually you need to get that publishable key and you need to get the secret key. So let's go over here, and inside my environment variable, I need that two key. One is for my next public Stripe publishable key, and another is next public Stripe secret key. You need to write that with the next public, otherwise it cannot get that, it cannot fetch that key as an publicly. Oops, I think I made some mistake. So let's copy that, let's paste it over here, and let's reveal that key. Of course, I need to give the password. Okay. Okay, let it be load. And now I can reveal the key. Let's copy it. Let's paste it here. So now I have the public key and I have the secret key. So after having that public and other things, what we need to do to implement, we need to we need to import that Stripe.js. And to do that, we need to, first of all, let's go to our file. It will be npm install, which will be stripe.js, and then after Stripe.js, we need to install the Stripe also. These two things we require, npm install Stripe. So now it will be available to work with. And by the way, if you want to see how the things actually okay, I believe you can go from here also, like okay, for the documentation, you can go through the documentation and you're gonna find every single thing is available over here. How you can create a payment, how you can create a payment checkout, or how you can use it with Next.js and other functionality. All the things will be available over here if you just go through the quick start. And as you see, getting the SDK for JavaScript and for the Next.js, so you can get every single detail. So I'm not gonna go with that to explanation. If you follow through me, it will be work just fine. So it's as simple as it is. So let's go back to my card payment, and inside that card payment we're gonna create that checkout option. So first of all, in that card payment, what we're gonna do inside that button, let's create an on-click function which will be handle checkout. Handle checkout. And inside that handle checkout, we need to make a lot of other things. What is that? We need to create that. We need to connect our that Stripe publishable key with that in our local, like in our local server. We need to connect with through that load Stripe. We need to reveal that Stripe publishable key. Then we need to find that. We need to pass also that secret key from the backend to collaborate with the front end. With that way, it will work. So let's go. And for right now, just to make a console.log, which I'm gonna do process.env, and let's see if it's actually working or not. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just go with that next up. So once we click, it's gonna give us that key. Let's inspect. Let's go to the console. Let's go to the card. And if we click, as you see, that key is revealed. So that thing is working much fine. So now, first of all, let's type promise, and that is type promise. It will be load stripe, and inside that load stripe, we need to pass that parameter as it gonna pass it as a promise. And of course, we need to mention that that key will be available there. So now what we need to actually make it happen. First of all, we need the session data also. So to work with that. So the const data, it will be session, and then need to make that use session because we also pass that session data to the backend. So first of all, this checkout, it will be an asynchronous checkout, asynchronous function. So let's async, and now comes stripe, and that stripe, it will await for load stripe. We are passing not the load stripe because we are passing that stripe promise, so that it will wait for the promise, and then we're gonna go with that response. Const response, it will be await, and it gonna fetch, but we didn't create anything to fetch. What we need to do inside that API, we need to create another file which will be checkout.ts. So what it gonna do actually, it gonna fetch from that API checkout. It's gonna fetch from there, and then it gonna pass the method. The method, it will be post, and after passing the method, it also gonna need to declare the headers, which will be the headers. So it will be content type. The content type, it will be application.json. And now inside the body, it will be I think json.stringify, because we need to stringify the JSON data, and we need to pass that items as the items. It will be the product data, and email, it will be session user dot email. So that's the things we're gonna pass. And after passing those things, we will get a checkout session. And of course it will await for it, and that response.json. So it's gonna pass that as a checkout session. Now what is gonna happen if we having that checkout session? Okay, so now if we are having the result for the checkout session, we will redirect our user. Redirecting like user or customer to Stripe checkout. So if we get this type promise, if we get our session, and if we get all the data available, then we will redirect to our user to create a Stripe checkout session. So now const result, it could be any result, and then it will await for the Stripe, and it will make redirect to checkout. And inside that redirect checkout, what we're gonna pass? We're gonna pass the session ID. It will be checkouts. I think we didn't define the checkout session. Did we define? Yeah, that's the checkout session. I think, yeah, we defined the checkout session. Checkout session dot ID. Yeah, that's the ID we're gonna use. Now here we have two other things. If the result is happening with an error, what is gonna happen? It's gonna give us that alert, and that result will be the result error, and then we're gonna pass the message. So now this is happening from the front end once we click in that checkout, but inside that our API on that checkout, we need to fulfill the promise. We need to get all the things. So first of all, let's go and we need to import that next API request and next API response from the next, and also we need to get that Stripe equal to, which will request as Stripe. And now we need to get the promise. Remember where we keep process.env. We need to get that Stripe secret key. We need to connect that secret key over here, that we can get the secret key from there. And now const default, that default, it will be an assign function. Function. Give a name of handler. I think the handler, yeah. Actually, it will not be const, it will be export default. Sorry, and there we need to pass that as a request. It will be that next API request. As a response, it will be the next API responses for the TypeScript. And now remember, we are passing the items, but we need to modify the items by which we can pass the items to Stripe, because we cannot give that dump that items as the way we want. So what we need to do, we need to modify our items. So the modify items dot map, and that items, we need to actually get that item first. So the const, it will be that our items, the items we are passing, and then we are having that email. Remember, we are giving a session email, and this is coming with that request dot body. So now we are passing that product data as items. So we need to signify, like we need to make the all items as different items. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna map through that item, and that item is actually for that TypeScript. We can put that as a product, store product. And now what we're gonna return, we're gonna return as quantity. We're gonna return a quantity.item.quantity, and after that, also what we're gonna return, we're gonna return that price data, and also, so that's the quantity we return. And then we're going to return the price data, that the currency will be USD, unit price will be item.price into 100 because it's calculating by the cents, and product data, it will be the name. It will take three things: one, name, description, and image. The product name we're going to send, description we're going to send and show, and we're going to send that image. So after that, we're going to create the session. So now, oops, let's go session, and that session, it will await for Stripe, and then checkout dot sessions dot create. Oops. Create. We're gonna pass everything as an object, and here what we're gonna do, we're gonna pass at that payment method types, which will be, now we can pass several payment method types, but for our one, it's gonna be as card. And then we're gonna pass that shipping address collection. Allow countries is BD, USA, Oman, Canada, and others. And also we need to pass that line items, and the line items, it will be modified items, and the mode, it will be payment. And now we need to pass that success URL, like once the payment is done, where it gonna take us, once the payment finish, fulfill, where it will go, or if it's cancelled, where it will go. So process.env, remember we are already setting our auth as a next URL, so it will be the next URL and slash success. And also cancel URL, it would be the same way. You can, if some way is cancelled, I want to redirect is with the checkout, or you can just put a page which will be given us to that cancel URL. So that's the one. And for the metadata, right now it's actually not needed, but you can pass the metadata also, like metadata. And inside that metadata, we can pass our email and also images. And inside that image, because we need to make that as a stringify, and that items.map, remember the image inside the item. Or you can just pass any item, or you can pass the items with the props, item.image. And now if everything is happening, everything is done, we need to pass a response.status, and it will give us a 200 status, and then we're gonna pass it as a JSON. And inside that JSON, we will pass that ID, which will be the session.id. So now this session ID, we're gonna pass it over there. And before creating the checkout, remember we are having already a pages. So we need to create that pages, called that success.tsx, RAFCE, success page. So right now, if we just success, we go back to success, you see we're having a 404. I don't know, it should be there. Okay, let's go to, okay, let's go to pages and success, SUCCESS. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake over here. It will be C. Okay, let's hit again, and as you see, we are having a success page. And for the success page, we're gonna just making a few things. Over here in success page, we're gonna take that dispatch function, of course. And inside that div, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just modify that div. I'm gonna give a flex call gap, and item center, as you see, is coming in the center. And then we're gonna pass one h1 tag. Thank you for shopping in Next Amazon YT. And then I'm gonna pass href. Oops, it will be a link. And then I'm gonna pass that like a ptag, continue shopping, and that it's gonna be href into okay, href into there in the home. And also we're gonna pass, also you're gonna dispatch a function over here, dispatch, oops, it will be use dispatch. And inside that on click function we're gonna also dispatch, and that dispatch it will be, we're gonna pass that receipt card. And that's the simple thing. So now for that h1 tag, let's go and give some class name for it. As you see, we're giving a class name, text2xl, font a little bit bolder and other things. And for the other one, for the button, just keep it inside a link, the simple text. And now as you see, once we hover, we can go back to there. It will take us to the home page right now. See? So now that's the things we need to implement. So as you see, if when it's time to face the truth, now this type payment we have previously 1544. So let's go back. Just we want to create a clean start. Let's sign out and let's sign in again. I will sign in with GitHub. And after redirecting the local host, let's add some product in the cart. Let's make a big bunch of payments. Okay, it's working. We're in the cart page. We can take more. We can remove that product also. We can add car. So now we are having 7416. Proceed to buy. And by the way, we are not getting that. As you see, post API checkout 404 not found. So we I think we made something wrong. API, see, that should be, let's rename CHECK checkout. Yeah, so I made a mistake again. So let's click. Okay, let's give a reload with that. So now CHECKOUT checkout, and the cart payment API.checkout. So I think it should be done. We're gonna go with that const response, and that response is fetching with that API checkout. Okay, now let's proceed to buy internal server error. So it's not giving the valid JSON. I think we made maybe a silly mistake somewhere. Okay, here is the content. Okay, there is E1 is the content type application.json. I think that will be the mistake only. Yes, we are passing that. Now if we click, no, that's not that. So let's just go through that. Body, it will be json.stringify, items, product data, email, user dot email. Okay, response.id. I think I find the error, and that error is happening from here. As you see, we are putting in an I think it will not be there. It will be in that curly braces as an object, and it will be items, email. So now I believe everything is fine. And if we just click on that proceed to checkout, oh, as you still see, okay, I think after that, because we are having some silly mistake over somewhere. Okay, let's find it again. I believe we keep everything fine. Okay, types we define, items, item quantity, everything we define properly. We are giving a session to create a checkout method. We are stringifying it, and just let's give a hot reload. I think it will work just fine. Sometimes it's having with a network issue. Let's click. I believe it will work. Yes, it's rendering throughout a checkout, because I think it's some of the portion, sometimes the network issue giving us that problem. So now in that stripe, we're gonna pass admin email, we're gonna pass that. Okay, we're gonna pass that poster error and that 424242, and it will be 30 and 125. So now the amount is 7416.98. Let's pay. And as you see, payment is done and it's taking us to our in the success URL. We can go back to there. And now if we just reload, if everything is fine, we're gonna having a payment section and you're gonna receive the, you see 7416.98 is already paid. So in that way, we are now having this beautiful UI. And by the way, that will be our till today's build, because if we want to implement the search field, we can implement that one also. And the other field, which I'm gonna take another day to build in the next part because it's getting a little bit bigger. So feel free to reach out and I'm gonna give it in the next video. But for today's build, I'm gonna give you everything, whatever is happening over here. And to do that, first of all, what I'm gonna do, we need to first of all, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just put it that git init, and I'm gonna make a git add dot. So I'm gonna dot add everything. Git commit, it will be our initial commit. And now for you people, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open a repository, which I'm gonna give you free to deploy it. So whatever I created here, you can have it in your basket also. And to do that, let's go Amazon Next YT. Oops, it will be YT. And description, like it's going to be in public. So let's create that repository. And now I'm gonna put that git remote at that repository. And now git push origin master. Oops. It will be our master. Okay, so everything is now here in the master, as you see. But what you need to do, you need to add one process.env file, which is .env.local. Then you need to implement that. By the way, I'm gonna give you also that file. Just give you a minute. So what I'm gonna do, let's go back to Vercel. To deploy that application, we're gonna deploy it inside the Vercel, but not into this build, in our next build. So what I am gonna do right now, I'm gonna remove that all other things. Oops. Like I'm gonna remove my value. So once you are adding your value, you're gonna have that application running in your local machine. So let's remove that. No need this one. Okay, hit save. And from my git ignore, okay, what is the env? Okay, so I will pass that env file also. So git add git oops, it will not be that. Push. So now if you just clone that website, you can have everything over here. As you see, I think .env file should be available. I don't know why it's not coming. I passed that. Okay, it's coming only the initial commit. Let's see what's happening with that. Okay, it's okay. What we have done. Yeah, that process, that env.local is available here. So if you just put your credential, you're gonna have that website for sure. And everything gonna be run locally from your machine. So if you having that, give me a screenshot in the description. Then I'm gonna go and make it morally to create it more responsive and focus on with that things. Whenever we're gonna click, we're gonna go to that particular page, these things, and also the search bar we're gonna create whenever you are finishing that. Okay, so if you are done with that, please let me know in the comments below, set a screenshot. Then I'm gonna create all other things which gonna really help you if you are looking forward for a job or other things. So feel free to do the things, and then we're gonna start with the other things. So we'll see you in next video.